let's have a look at a little fella who made appearances here before called Beau of the Fifth Column. He talks about where GOP policy comes from and makes an excellent point. With no further ado, this is a charming gentleman with a beard and a shed.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again. So today we're going to talk about how policymaking within the Republican Party actually occurs. Because I had a question, and I've touched on this subject before this year, but this was a little bit more specific. It asked why I was even talking about Trump's campaign promises when I'm standing here saying constantly that he's weakened, it's unlikely he's going to hold office again. And yeah, that might seem contradictory, but we have to look at what the Republican Party is right now and how it gets the rhetoric and policy ideas that that shape it. A lot of it still comes from Trump.
There it is.
Right now you have multiple factions within the Republican Party. To keep it simple right now, we're just going to talk about those who are in states where they actually have to run for office, and those that are in deep red areas. Those that...
Okay. Oh, I always hate pausing in an awkward moment. Okay. Side note. When he's going to go into this dynamic, I'd like you to think about one extra thing. Part of this channel is to cheerlead great progressive content such as this. Beau of the Fifth Column just about never misses. He's something else. But another thing is to take what they're talking about and tell you about how we can take action, how we can change the course of the river, if only enough, just enough to survive it. Pay attention to the dynamics he's talking about with Republicans and think about how that may affect you. What's its opposite look like? Can the things that Republicans do effectively, whether we agree with their goals or not, can they be adopted or adapted to use... did I just do a Trump? I hope not. If they can be adapted for use in, decent human beings' plans.
Red areas, they are very supported on their social media, and we have talked about it on the channel. The Republican Party has fallen into this trap where they believe their most vocal supporters are reflective of the voters. They should have learned this after 3 failed elections, but they haven't. They still think that vocal minority on social media cheering on the most extreme rhetoric is representative of the whole. Trump controls that energized base. That vocal minority, they are Trump's people. They love him.
Okay. Fun fact about progressives. Progressives make up about 8% of the voting population. That's, first of all, better than it was significantly. The far right has done a great job of making people woke because there has been no choice for many but to wake up to what goes on in the U.S. However, 8% ain't exactly a minority. Another fun fact about progressives. Their policies, as in the things they are advocating to actually be done in government, when you take off all the spin people put on it, and you just put their policies down on a sheet of paper and ask somebody, do you agree with this? Check yes or no. They have, on average, 60 to 70% support amongst the voting populace. Think about that. It is the opposite with MAGA folks. It is difficult to even pin down what their policies are. But MAGA folks definitely, the policies they can agree on to say this is a MAGA policy, definitely don't have 60 to 70% support. They barely have the support of all MAGA folks. So, there is a clear problem here. There is a gap, a massive gap, between the number of people that consider themselves progressives, this is according to Ipsos polls, and the people that actually want progressive things done, i.e., people that should be considering themselves progressives. So what do we use right here with what he's talking about? He is talking about the vocal base of a political party being viewed by the members of that party in Congress as a larger section of the voting populace than they actually are. Okay, we need to take that. We need to use that. That does mean, as gauche as it is, as contrary to the nature of progressives as it is, that does mean being louder online. Not rude, but louder. That means adding your representative on social media, following your representative, seeing what they say, and commenting on it. And it also means contacting them. If you feel bad about being heard, just remember that, 62% gap between the people that consider themselves progressives and the people and the groups that want progressive things done. We simply aren't loud enough. But let's continue with Mr. Beau of the Fifth Column.
So when he comes out and says, well, yeah, we're going to launch military operations into Mexico, him saying it doesn't really matter because he's not going to be in office again. That's incredibly unlikely. So it goes down to them. They hear it. They start talking about it. It shows up in the social media profiles of other candidates. Those in very red areas know that it resonated. So they pick up those policy decisions. Right now, the game of red state Republicans and Republicans in very secure red areas is to try to be the most extreme. That's why you have the governor of South Dakota taking shots at the governor of Florida right now. Even though they're on the same team. They are both far-right Republicans. But being the most extreme, well, that's how you get that social media engagement. And that's how, to their way of thinking, you win elections, even though it damages those Republicans who aren't in those very safe districts. So, like it or not, Trump is a symbol for the Republican Party. He is still a thought leader. That's why when that fiasco happened up on Capitol Hill, there at the House of Representatives, even though the people who were holding out and blocking McCarthy, even though they were doing that against Trump's endorsement, they threw up a vote for Trump.
True.
To let everybody know they're still on his side. They're still Trump's people because he's a symbol. He's the thought leader. He is that guiding light for the Republican Party. And he will continue to be that until something changes. Until the criminal prosecutions take hold, until he decides of his own free will to leave political life.
Seems unlikely. Let's let him... all right, that's good. By the way, until those criminal prosecutions take hold. We're going to go into it in, I believe, tomorrow's show with the utter lack of federal prosecutions, but we've done a couple segments about this. The federal efforts are going to be led by Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is old school liberal, like Democrat through and through. In other words, he's weak as hell. He's about as strong as a shot of strawberry schnapps. He's not going to do it. But that's if we're interested in one of the scenarios there, which takes some of the crazy out of the Republican Party, and you might not be Republican, but it sure helps to have opponents that aren't, advocating for full-on fascism. If we're going to make that happen, state charges are the route to go. It also makes Trump unable to get saved by, let's just say, a moron Democrat who would give him a pardon. Sounds crazy, I'm telling you. Don't put anything dumb past traditional Democrats. There is nothing too dumb. There is nothing too incompetent to be too dumb for them to do. So, state charges are a great route. Link in the description. There are 5 states right now which have not filed or have not begun a state investigation into the false elector plot. One of the ways Trump tried to make your vote irrelevant. If you're from one of those states, contact your attorney general. Links in the description.
Republican Party just says we've had enough. He's still very influential, even if he never holds office again. So, when it comes to his vows on campaign issues and what he's promising to do, they have to be addressed because they will spread. It will infect his energized base, which will infect the red state Republican base, and over social media, it will infect the red state candidates. And then you run the risk of it actually becoming a Republican Party policy. So, as much as we all want to, Trump's not out of the game yet. We can't ignore him.
True.
Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
I mean, that ending of his, I wish I had something like that. I'll never. It's like a warm cup of tea. So it doesn't have to be all bad news. Let's take that and turn it on its head. You can use that same energy, that same technique of being the loud minority in your party to be the cultural leader of your party. The base of lefties ought to be active. And fortunately, we can do that from the comfort of our homes with just a cell phone. It's in your pocket, the ability to change America, to right the course of this ship. You can do it.